that persons have been coming to me, sometimes groups of friends or business partners saying, look, we are looking to invest in an acre or two because we hopping on this solar farm bandwagon. First of all, tell me, what are the requirements for persons in terms of the usage of the land? For example, I assume that residential land can't be used for a solar farm. Can it be commercial? Can it be agricultural? Give me an idea of the requirements before I can even pursue a plot for that purpose.
Okay.
Layman's terms.
Okay. Once you have commercial property, commercial land, that is straight off the bat. That is straightforward. That's easy.
Good to know. Commercial is good. Go ahead.
Yeah. But now you come to agricultural land. Now there is it's very, very complex.
I have realized that. I've been trying to close a deal with someone on a couple of acres, and we are on to a year so far without them getting all of the permissions. So,
right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
It varies from parish to parish.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. So I would just, let me put it this way. Once it's agricultural land and it's in use, it's outright no.
Really?
Yeah.
And when we say in use, that it has crops on it or whatever, it's a no.
If you use it right now, let me say you're doing it for crops.
Yes.
I believe it would be outright no. But you might get lucky and it's said okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Good. If you're using it for animal husbandry, you can use a portion of it for, because you could say that you're building the structure as shade for the animals, i.e. sheep, cows. Well, basically, only two things that we have in Barbados.
So the thought process is that they don't want you to take away from the land that is in agriculture at the moment.
Correct.
Right, okay.
But another one is you can use agricultural land, but you can only use up to, I think the last number that I heard was 75% of the land.
Okay.
But that 75% then dwindles because you have to put up fencing and other things, which will then bring that down to about, let's say, about 60% or maybe less.
Interesting.
Right.
I feel like my brain is growing here.
It's very, very complex. It depends, again, on the area you're in.
Right.
So with agricultural land, it can be done, but again, you have a lot of hoops to jump through.
Right.
And the process is very long and tedious.
So just to paraphrase it, give me an idea of the process. So I think I heard things like Ministry of Health permissions being needed, Light and Power permissions being needed. What else?
Right. So? All right. For instance, first and first. All right. Let me see. Let me put this here. If you're doing a solar farm, all right. I'm trying to get it correct, but I don't want to give any misinformation. But
that's okay.
What I would do if I believe that it is wrong, I would send you the.
And I would add it to the chat. Yeah.
Correct. Cool. Anything up to 150 kilowatts, I don't believe you have to do an EIA, which is an environmental. Sorry, up to 250 kilowatts. I don't believe you have to do an EIA, environmental impact assessment.
Okay.
That's the first one. If you go over 250 kilowatts, you may, and do not go over 500, you may have to do an EIA.
Okay.
Anything over 500 kilowatts, you have to do an EIA, which normally takes about 3 months to be done.
And this is a document then, a report that you're then submitting to Town and Country Planning?
Correct, which would then be okayed by Town and Country Planning.
Okay.
Right.
Denise, so you enjoying this too, Denise? Because I feel intelligent. I feel, yeah, I'm feeling wiser. Talk to me, Andre. Continue. Carry on.
Right. So after the EIA is done, then if you are given permission to go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
then you go from there. Then you go to Light and Power, and they do an assessment. Whereas you have to find out if you have. Now this is where we have hydration, which is commercial activity, which is the hydration cable, which handles the large amounts of electricity.
It has to be close by.
Yeah, if it's not close by, you then have to pay to have it brought to wherever you're setting up that solar farm.
Right.
And that cost is at you again.
So it's starting to add up.
Yeah. And then there is a situation where you might have to build an access road to get to the solar farm, because again, Light and Power has to have access to it.
Right.
And that is at you again. And then the last part is security. You have to put a perimeter fence and maintain it. So that again is at you. So there's a lot of work that goes into solar farms. Don't let me discourage anyone, because it may seem like a lot of work, but in some instances you can make as much as $30,000 a month.
Yay!
Right. So again, all dependent on the investment you want to make. Right. So it is very, very complex. So if you really truly want to do a solar farm,
mm-hmm.
it takes a lot of work, and again, we do all this work for you.
Right.
Right. But the process is very, very long.
But Andre, to be honest with you, I think even this knowledge is powerful, because at least if persons want to venture into it, by knowing this up front, kind of knowing, okay, maybe this might not go into place until a year or a year and a half from now. I think once they're mentally able to deal with it, it will be, you might find they're more willing to take the risk, because at least they know up front this is the reality of what could happen.
Not so many people that are dealing with it.
What sort of experiences and feedback have you been getting when people see the challenges?
The hardest part is the frustration of
the system.
The system could be a little smoother, but again, I do not knock anyone because I do not know what their workload is.
Right.
But the process to me could be a little smoother, but again, I do not know what each person at each department has to do,
right,
or what they're dealing with. So again, I like to give realistic
timelines.
Frames.
I appreciate that. Now, before we,
for instance, you may have someone saying, "Hey, I can get this approved in 2 months." 6 months later, it ain't approved.
Correct.
Right. I prefer to tell somebody this can take 6 months to be approved.
Exactly.
Right. And then they get approved in 2.
Yes.
And they look good.
Yes.
Right. But it is, for me, challenging.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine.
Also rewarding.
Yes. When you see the final product.
Because for me, knowing that someone is making an investment of, well, let's say $2 million, and they can have a return on their investment in 7 years.
Nice.
That's unheard of.
Yes.
That is unheard. Anybody that could tell me that you could make a quicker investment anywhere for that sort of money other than doing something illegal, surely. Right? But
big risk,
we go through
reward.
The process for you. So the only thing you have to do is to call me and make me miserable maybe every other month.